What's up,
So
everybody? Welcome to What's Up with the
listen,
what?
listen, Linda. Listen, Linda. When you go wireless headset shopping, get a good one. Don't get a cheapo one. Like, oh, I'm just gonna try it out. No, splurge. Get yourself a good one.
Okay,
The
I will.
headset I have I'm not. We're not sponsored or nothing, but this is like a SteelSeries wireless headset. That's like I think 9 years old at this point. This was their flagship model back in 2014, 2015 when I bought this thing. And you know what? This thing works amazing.
Awesome. I'll get the link from you later on. We can definitely get the link because let me know what you have and because I don't know anything about headsets honestly, so I can definitely take any
Yeah.
tips that you guys
Well,
can
you
give
can.
me. Let me know. I know microphones
All
pretty
the
well. I know
tips.
cameras pretty well. I don't know headsets.
Don't worry, we'll get you the tip.
All right. Anyways, well, what's up, everybody, and welcome to What's Up
Tell me
with the
how we're
podcast.
30. We're
Cut
30
off.
seconds into this podcast, and I've already got the clap and just the tip.
And you've
How's
also
that
cut
work?
off my intro twice.
Yeah. True.
I was gonna see how many times I was gonna try to get you with that. All right, I'm done. I'm done.
Number three.
Do your intro.
Number
Sorry.
3. Oh, this is going great. What's up, everybody? Welcome to What's Up with the podcast. I am Will Watson, aka Watts in the Box, and I am joined by my wonderful yet very disturbing co-hosts and also very good
Hey.
friends, Alan and AJ. What's up,
I
guys?
see
I
what
like
you
how
did there.
I was first when you mentioned disturbing, and I did nothing of the sort.
And my tag is disturb player. So
Well, you know what?
I see what you did there.
So, I think in the way that I said it by my very wonderful and disturbing. So, wonderful could be the first person, disturbing could be the second person, and I'm pretty sure I said Alan and AJ. So, you take that in whatever way you'd like.
What, like just the tip?
Yes, if you want just the tip or if you want the whole damn shaft, that is totally up to you.
I get shafted enough at work, thank you. I'm good.
It's the same. I mean, we did just go on like a 40-minute rant about how Alan gets shafted.
It's okay, I'm on union, so when I get shafted, I can report it if I like to.
Oh, okay.
Same.
There you go.
It's funny. Al and I are both union and government shafted. It's great.
It doesn't hurt less, but it makes you feel like it hurt less, even though it really doesn't.
You know what's
gives
great
you-
is where I work, I am funded by the government, but I'm not government. It's great.
Government contracted. Yep. That's
Mhm.
fun stuff.
Yeah, it's awesome. Anyways, how you guys doing?
So-
What's going on with you guys today? What's going on with you guys in life?
Pretty busy with work. Got a new job or new position, I should say.
There you go. Very nice.
I got a raise, so maybe I'll be able to afford my own house in 10 years.
That would be nice. In 10 years.
In 10
No.
years.
Most
No,
people
it's
have like a
house-
3-year or 5-year plan. You have a 10-year plan.
No, we're gonna be moving out before the end of the year. We're gonna get a nice like manufactured mobile home.
That's nice. That's very good.
Our landlord passed away, and
Oh.
it's working through. Like the estate's almost settled, and there's a whole big moving. There's just a whole bunch of stuff going on, and it's like, okay, we're getting to the end of that. And Amber and I looked at each other, and we're like, yeah, we're not ever having a landlord again. We're not ever paying rent. We're
Mhm.
going from here to a house or a mobile home.
Yep, that's how
And there's some nice
my
mobile
wife and
homes
I
out
were.
there.
That's how my wife and I were. We just rented, and we were just like, I can't do this anymore. Plus, it helps when I know how to do a lot of contracting work as it is, so a lot of the stuff that needs to get done around the house, I can do. I don't have to call somebody to come do it for me.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
It is a nice sense of freedom when you have that, availability to you.
Oh, definitely, yeah, absolutely.
Well, hold on. It's also it's freedom, but I'm learning that because we were gonna buy this place, so there was a bunch of little things I've been doing around the house. And I'm not saying I'm like, oh, I'm a contractor now, but it's like, okay, I'm learning how to do stuff and not just jerry rig it, like do it the right way.
Right.
But it's also like it's kind of this feeling of dread that you get. It's like, oh, I have to do that. It's like I have to deal with this. I can't just like pay a guy to do it because I know how to do it and I should do it. which I don't know how old your house is, Will, but
150.
this. Oh shit! All right, yours is older than mine. Never
Yeah,
mind.
it was made in 1872. So
Mine's
it's old.
1892.
Yeah, it's old.
It's like
I'm sure my apartment complex was built, I don't know, 15 years ago. I'm good with that.
Yeah, we're elders compared to
Nice.
you. Damn.
Well, here's the thing. I love this old house. Old houses are cool. They have style, they have charm. But the issue with this place is the landlord has lived in this apartment for the last 15 years. So this apartment in particular is full of landlord fixes, where he fixed it good enough to move on to the next project.
That makes sense.
And that is why there is a pellet stove in the middle of the dining room
Oh,
instead of having the steam radiators working, and why there's a gas cooktop but no oven.
I don't even
Yeah,
know what
it's
to
a
say about
beautiful.
that. That's just wonderful
He must.
craftsmanship. It's just
Well, here's the thing. It's a beautiful, like, 6-burner gas Gen Air cooktop. It's like he must have gotten this thing for a deal or something. It's a beautiful cooktop, but there's no oven to it. And to get a gas oven would mean removing the entire thing and breaking down. It's on like a wood. It's like just the gas cooktop, but it's on like a wood, I guess, countertop that's custom built for it. So it's ripping all that and getting a gas oven cooktop up there. Or we thought about getting an electric oven up there, but then I need about probably 200 feet of Romex
oh
and a
yeah,
220 outlet wired up there.
yeah. No, it's never easy. Honestly, it's never an easy process.
Yes.
Right now, like what we're planning on trying to do is
Correct.
we're trying to get like a pellet stove put into the living room, so we have some type of heating in there because the heating in this place is horrendous. So like we're trying to work on that. We have space heaters going in every single room because the only vents that work for heat are the upstairs. So the whole downstairs of our house does not have heat. So they're just space heaters in each of the rooms. It's awful. We gotta get somebody out here to take a look at that. We don't know yet. It's not.
When it makes, I was say, wouldn't it make more sense to fix the vent heat? What is it, forced hot air?
No, actually, it's like the hot water through the pipes heating.
Oh, dude, I got steam heat.
Yeah, it sucks.
Dude, get that. Learn. I'm telling you, learn how to work on that. Learn how to get that up and running. That is the best heat you'll ever have. I've had forced hot air. I've had, central air is pretty cool. I've had the steam radiator heat. I've had the baseboard heating. This steam heat is the best heat because it heats up the radiators and it stays hot in the room. It's not just like a warm
Right.
breeze that flows through the room sometimes.
Well, if I can get somebody out here to figure it out, then that'll be great because I don't know anything about how to fix that kind of stuff. For me, it's like the actual structure of the building. It's the electrical, it's drywalling, things like that. When it comes to like plumbing and HVAC, that's not for me. I gotta outsource that one.
So, no word of a lie. I will if I'm willing to. Okay, hold on. Let me reword this. No word of a lie. I'll help you and look at that if you want, because I have like a pretty good understanding of it. I've replaced the boiler in the basement from the first floor.
Oh, nice.
Twice actually. This fucking place.
Twice.
So when we first moved in, my landlord pulled me aside and he's like, "Hey, the first floor heat isn't great. The boiler's on its way out, but you keep oil in it, and I'll keep fixing it. After the winter, we're gonna totally replace it." And I'm like, "Okay." And what that entailed was at least once every 2 weeks, usually multiple times a week, I'd wake up and there's no heat in the house because this boiler would shut down. The fucking boiler was like 30 years old, not maintained. And the lady that lived there before us, always had it cranked up to like 80, 90. So it was on its way out. So it was him, my landlord, my uncle Matt, who that's how I got in the apartment. He knows my uncle, and he's a general contractor, and me. We we took my landlord's old boiler from the second floor. Like it ran the second floor, but it was in the basement. It was right next to mine, and we moved that one over in place of mine.
Mm-hmm.
And I helped them cut and rethread the black pipe and black iron pipe and whatnot.
All right. Well,
and then,
if you ever have time to come on up and take a look, then be my guest, man. It might also just be an electrical issue too, for all I know.
Well, it sounded like there's like a valve. I don't mean to just cut Alan out of this conversation. I swear I'll steer this away late at some point. I'm sorry, but
Good.
no.
I don't know
It's
jack or shit about houses.
since you already have, because it's one boiler, usually one boiler that runs the whole system. Since you have heat getting to the second floor, there's got to be like some valves that are shut for the first floor.
Okay.
Because as long as it's like turning on and getting hot enough to make steam, then it's thermodynamics. It doesn't fail until like a pipe bursts, and you don't have a flooded basement, so I'm assuming you don't have a burst pipe anywhere.
Anymore. It's happened twice.
With the steam heat?
Just pipes in general. Not
okay.
the heat, but just our pipes in the basement, or just in general, yeah. They've burst twice.
Those pipes are always way overbuilt, so they almost never burst.
Yeah, well, that's good to know.
Well, we're talking like black iron, like cast iron pipes that are, minimum 1/4 of an inch thick.
Oh, that's good.
No, not when you have to cut and thread
Well,
them.
it just the fact that it's not gonna burst though, and I have hot water go everywhere. That would suck.
Yeah, there's I was talking to my uncle about it, and there's a reason why there's so many old houses that still have this running. Is because the systems were way overbuilt, as they should be. So I'm not saying don't get a pellet stove, because I have a pellet stove. It doesn't work great for me because we're on the second floor and we have a long apartment, so we have to set up like a couple fans to move the heat around.
Yeah. All right, well, you guys heard it here first. Don't get a pellet stove. They suck.
Well, also don't get a cheap pellet stove either. I have a cheap pellet stove and it sucks.
How about we just don't get a pellet stove and we'll just stick with that?
Just stick with the steam heat, yeah.
Yeah.
Old school.
All right. Well, something that we like to do on this podcast is we like to bring something of pop culture,
distracted.
or yes, very much so. We get distracted very easily because we just went 13 minutes into home repair. Yeah, so we like to get news, pop culture news, something that happened that's going on, or just stuff going on in our life that we'd like to share with all you listeners and hopefully soon to be viewers. So I don't know if you guys had anything specific that you wanted to bring up, but I have something very specific that I wanted to bring up that when I found out, I was ecstatic. I don't know if you guys know of the show Wizards of Waverly Place. If you guys happened to watch that when it came out, I believe it was like 2007, so we're looking at like 17 years ago. That show was a great show. It was an absolutely awesome show. One of my favorites, honestly. And I just found out recently that they are doing a reboot of that show with the original cast. So they're not.
So it'd be like, it's not really a reboot then, technically, right?
They're considering
sequel.
it a sequel, correct? Yeah, they're correct. They're considering it like a sequel. So basically, I guess what the concept of it is going to be, it's going to have David Henry, who played Justin. It's going to be based around him and how he gave up his magic powers, but then I guess he finds, or some young wizard comes to him asking to be trained. So he's basically going to take the place of like his dad in a way. And Alex, or Selena Gomez, is supposedly going to be returning for like a couple episodes, but she's not going to be like a regular. But Selena Gomez, I don't know about you guys, she has been my celebrity crush since the first episode of Wizards. Like, I just absolutely been my eye candy since then.
See, I never watched Wizards of Waverly Place.
Really?
And when you mentioned it, I'm like, wait, that aired in 2007? And I looked at it, there's only 4 seasons of that. I remember, like, I'd love watching, I almost said Perry the Platypus Show, but it basically is
Phineas
the
and
Perry
Ferb.
the Platypus
Yeah,
show.
I know what you're talking about.
Phineas and Ferb.
Mm-hmm.
There was a couple things I watched. Oh, The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. So, like, and every time I'd go to watch one of those, it's like, oh, it's either Hannah Montana or Wizards is on. It's like, I don't, no, get me Perry or give me death, right? So it's like,
Perry or give me death.
I was surprised. Like, I looked it up. It's like, oh, only 4 seasons? I thought it seemed like they were airing like my entire childhood.
Yeah, no, it seemed like it was on a lot. There was a lot of what do they call it? Like when they replay it.
Reruns.
Reruns, yeah. There's a lot of those after
Yeah.
the show did end because it was still a very popular show, but I guess the kids just got too old and they went off on their own.
Well, I mean, that's like a classic Disney thing, right? And that
Exactly.
that TV series formation is like it's common. That
Hmm.
format, super common. You saw it with Wizards of Waverly Place. You saw it with something a little bit more recent, as far as I knew of, was what was that one? Something Danger Dave or something. Something like that. I can't remember
Oh
exactly what it's
yeah, Henry
called.
Danger.
Henry Danger, yeah,
Yeah,
you have
yeah,
Henry Danger. You even have more of my personal favorite, Drake and Josh.
yeah. Drake and Josh was good. Yeah,
So
all the
Drake
like
and
grew up,
Josh
the
was solid.
throwback to the old like
yeah.
Dan Schneider shows. Yeah, like
This
Drake and
motherfucker
Josh,
sold an
iCarly, Mando
orangutan
show.
to an orangutan eater.
iCarly was a big one too. That one had its own issues though, but iCarly was a huge one as well.
I
Um,
see. I liked like I know it wasn't a perfect show and it irritated me, but I thought that was me growing out of its target age group.
Yeah,
But
no.
I liked it.
Yeah, no, I like iCarly, and even the reboot now, like it's more, it's less juvenile, I would say. If you guys have seen like I guess not reboot again, sequel or whatever, it's continuing off. They're just older now. Yeah, it's a lot more like aimed more towards like older teens and adults. More, I guess, more towards like the actual actor's age now. So they actually like swear in it. They talk about like sex and things like that. So it's more adulterated, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word, but that's the best I can think of.
No, that makes sense. It's just, targeted. They try to make it so it fits. I haven't seen the new reboot, by the way, so I could just be talking totally out of my ass, but from what people say about it, it's like it's targeted. It's targeted. Its main target audience is the kids that used to watch it, and they're grown up now, or
Exactly.
they're like teenagers, and they caught it like at the very tail end of it.
Mm-hmm.
And they also try to keep it relevant for the new audience,
Exactly. Yeah.
which is when you're making a show like that, it's always tough to do that. How do you include the old and the new without alienating either one?
Exactly. Yeah. So according to CBS News, because that's where I got the information of this from. I mean, I knew about it because I saw Selena Gomez posted a picture with David Henry. They posted a picture together saying "We're back," and I was ecstatic about that. But basically, it says here that Selena Gomez and David Henry, who played Alex and Justin in the original show, which debuted in 2007, will be executive producers of the pilot. Disney branded television confirmed to CBS News. So Gomez is set to appear in the pilot as a guest star, and Henry will appear as Justin on a regular basis. So, like I said, I don't know if she's going to continue to be in the show, but she will be at least in the pilot episode. But the story again, it's the magic-filled sequel follows the story of Justin, who leaves his job at Wiz Tech and his magic powers behind to live a normal life with his family. So I guess he's like married and has kids, most likely. Until a powerful young wizard shows up at his door looking for training. According to the press release, Justin must embrace his past to ensure the future of the wizard world. And the pilot episode is written by the same two guys who were behind the reboot of That's So Raven, because they also did a sequel show of that as well. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely going to watch it because this show was the best. And like I said, Selena Gomez is top tier for me, always has been.
I will say, I think as those type of shows got progressively more and more produced, I got less and less interested, and I'm not sure if that's something associated with my age watching them,
It might be.
as opposed to the quality. Because one thing I did notice with Henry Danger was they were recycling some things from Drake and Josh. They literally had the truther joke in there. When, if anyone doesn't
Really?
know, it's
Yeah. You
when
call me a
with
liar?
Drake and
I ain't calling
Josh.
you a truther. Yeah.
Exactly. And they actually quoted it verbatim, which I'm assuming because the
Oh,
network owns it. Yeah, it's
well,
fine.
I
But
Is
was
Henry
I was
Danger
I
on a
was
Dan
gonna
Snyder
I
show?
was gonna ask.
it is on Disney. I did see it, not myself directly, but I was seeing my aunt, and she had the kids watching TV, and they had it on, and I heard that, and I was like, that doesn't really resonate as much because it's from something else, and it just seems kind of like poor lazy writing. And so I don't personally know if that was a better show or not, but I did like Wizards of Waverly Place, just not as much as Drake and Josh. So I'm interested. I wouldn't say that I'm like over the over the hill for over the like completely enthused with it. It's
Right.
like, ooh, that might be good.
But,
Maybe.
by the way, Dan Schneider was one of the creators of Henry Danger, so the chances of him recycling
I didn't know.
old
I didn't know
jokes.
Dan Schneider. Interesting. I thought he was like exclusive Nickelodeon because I was gonna say Drake and Josh was Nick, and it sounds like Henry Danger was on Disney. So that's just like a straight up. That's just a straight up like rip off. That's not
No,
like a
Henry.
callback.
I
If
think
they're
Henry was
quoting
on.
it
I think
verbatim.
Henry was on Nick, wasn't it? I think that was a Nickelodeon.
I don't know exactly. I was just saying it was Disney because most of them are Disney, and we're talking specifically about Wizards of Waverly Place.
Yeah, no, it was a Nickelodeon production.
I'm not sure
It's a
exactly.
Nickelodeon
I'm pretty
production,
sure. I could be also been mixing up. I think I might have said that.
Can we
it
get
was on
like a
Disney.
nerd that like sits in? He's like the fourth guy. He never speaks unless spoken to,
A
and he just
producer?
looks up stuff to prove us wrong.
Well, I mean, I'm looking it up right now. I see that it's on Network Nickelodeon, so I guess I can be that nerd until we can get a producer for the show in the future.
Well, I guess the nerd is just whoever Googles it first.
That would probably be me with my 4-monitor setup.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Instead of
Settle-
Will
settle-
Watson, it's Will Nerdson.
Oh
Heard it
yeah.
here.
Hey, got him.
Exactly. Also, I don't know if you guys know the song. Is it "The Lights Down Low"? I think it's called.
Baby, lock them doors and turn the lights down low. That one, right?
No, not Josh Turner. So I think it's "Lights Down Low" by Max, and he just goes by Max. Yeah, so his name is Max. But
Verstappen?
no, so it's Max. Believe it or not, Schneider. So Max Schneider.
Oh, that's a long name.
Does
Max,
he have a
believe it
foot?
or not, Schneider?
Yeah. No, it's just the Max Schneider.
Does he also have a foot fetish?
No, but he actually is Dan's son.
Interesting.
Yeah, I found that out recently because I knew Max who sang "Lights Down Low" because I liked the song, but then I was scrolling through TikTok and it was his page popped up and it was Max and it was verified and I was like, who the hell is this person? One of his videos had a whole bunch of other like singer celebrities like saying, hey Max, it's me, Victoria Justice, hey, it's me, Jesse McCartney, drop the song, like all of them saying that, and I was like, who the hell is this Max guy? So I looked it up and I found that it's actually Dan's son. So he grew up with all of these like Nickelodeon stars that are on like iCarly, Drake and Josh, Henry Danger, all that. Like I was like, oh, interesting. I didn't even know it was his son.
I wouldn't have had any idea.
Yeah, I just happened to run across him while I was scrolling through TikTok. I was like, that's really interesting. But yeah, but anyways, Wizards of Waverly Place is getting a sequel, and it is going to be called Wizards. So they're shortening it to just Wizards, which I appreciate because that's what I call it in general when I'm talking about it, because Wizards of Waverly Place is a mouthful for me. I can't say that clearly I have to slow myself down to say that. It's a little bit of tongue twister.
It's a little bit of a mouthful.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a tongue twister. So not a huge fan of that. But yeah, that's the pop culture that I brought to the table here. I don't know if you guys had anything you wanted to bring up, anything that caught your eye at all, or if you wanted to move on to today's actual topic.
I do.
We
have
have an
a
actual
question.
topic.
Oh, I do. Yes.
Yeah, hold on. We have an actual topic.
Oh yeah, with every episode we're gonna have an actual topic that we can expound upon after we have like our small talk and.
Ooh, now that's a $5 word.
Yes, exactly.
$5. That's the barman for us, apparently.
So I have a question for you guys.
What's up?
Have you heard of a game called Pal World?
I have, and I want to get it and play it because it seems
gangster Pokemon.
really
Who hasn't heard of that?
I literally found out about that game this morning.
I found out last night.
Scrolling through Facebook, and it's just like a pom-pom with like an AK-47, like the Pokemon.
Yeah, no, I found
And
out
I'm
last
like,
night
what
because
is
I was
that?
streaming.
Oh, Pal World sold 1 million copies, and I'm like, oh my god, how have I never heard of this?
It was highlighted as Pokemon open world done right. Because
Exactly.
it almost literally does that exact thing. Even if shooting Pokemon and using them as meat shields isn't your thing.
But you are a Pokemon, so it's okay, right?
No, you're actually
you're
not
you're
a
actually
Pokemon
just
in
a
that.
hunter.
You
still a
are
hunter.
a reskinned Pokemon trainer that's capturing them, and it's also very much like Ark Survival, where you build, you craft, you
Right.
consume food to
So
sustain yourself.
think like Ark Survival with, I would say like the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, that kind of feel to it. Like it's open
Yeah.
world, it has that kind of aesthetic to it, but but with guns and crafting and stuff
I'm
like that.
imagining Pokemon Coliseum in high def, but with like firearms.
Yeah, like Coliseum or
Mm,
what was like the Shadow or
more
whatever.
open world, because Coliseum was more like a battle arena kind of
Oh,
thing.
there was another one that
Yeah,
was
it
like
was like
Shadow
half open
something.
world, half arena. It was weird,
Well, I mean, think
but
of it
still a
more
solid
like,
game.
if you think of like an open world, think of it like it's like it's a whole map. So it's like how GTA's map is,
Right.
not really city-esque, but it's a whole open map, or
Like a
it's
Skyrim,
uh
but
or
like
Breath of the
really
Wild kind
shitty.
of concept.
A lot more like Breath of the
Yeah.
Wild, yeah, with kind of like with graphics like that, a little bit more cartoony. I would say it's not quite as like real, not realistic. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but it's
Not to say that this is all good and whatnot, but apparently there's a resurgence of a couple of videos and a couple of things about the game that's a bit much. I don't know if you guys have been reading up on that at all. I know you just caught up on it. So it turns out there are NPCs in the game that you can talk to, and I believe that they also do missions. Don't quote me on that. But you can also, much like Pokemon, how you injure them to capture them, you can do that with humans. And the game will actually alert you saying that this is kind of inhumane, but you do you. And also, it turns out that you can sell humans because they are considered valuable, or I believe it's listed their parts are very valuable. Now,
oh
in Pal World, you can use pals and fight with them. You can also merge them to create new pals, which is really cool. You can also use them as meat shields for bullets, and you can also cut them up for resources and food. And it turns out that humans captured are also equivalently usable for the same things.
Dude, this is starting to sound like reskinned Ark.
yeah,
So
And
you,
honestly.
there was that time where a buddy of mine and I literally just like he kept dying and we kept using his food to not die of. We used his bodies to not die of hunger
yep. So you can capture
because we were
and
new to the game and didn't
murder
understand how to do it.
humans and also sell them off to people if you so choose.
I
I
like that the
don't
game's
choose
like that. It's
actually.
like, hey, this is inhumane, but
You can
you
do
do
it if
you,
you
I
want.
guess.
Like it's part of the game too. It's not even like it was a mod that they added. It's literally just part of the game.
The
That's
whole
And I
so
mean, this is
game
also
dumb.
kind of
coming
sounds.
from me just reading about this. This could be a
Right, this
mod
could
that
be
someone
absolute bullshit
published,
for all we
and
know.
yeah, exactly. But from what I saw, this doesn't look like bullshit. It was a blurred image of the main character chopping a human body, which I assume was the crafting system.
Hmm.
The consumption of a pal and its parts for what I would assume be crafting, because I've heard it compared to the Arc system very very closely. So
Yeah, that's weird.
interesting,
That's weird. It's
interesting
interesting.
developments for an M-rated.
I
Is it M-rated?
is it? I hope.
It sounds like it
The
should be.
concepts of
Like
that, I hope.
in a good way.
Yeah, like in a good way, but with concepts like that, I don't really want my 10-year-old playing it, so it's a bit much.
Yeah, a little much. I mean, a little brutalized. Let's see, look at this.
Well, that's real life though.
It's real life to capture humans and then chop them up. I mean, it's not real life for cute
It
creatures.
definitely
No,
isn't real life for
I
me.
regret I regretted saying that as soon as those words left my mouth.
Instant
Thinking like,
regret.
oh, it's like it's surreal. It's like, oh, that's life. And then I'm like, wait,
No,
no,
it's
this is you
actually
can
not at
literally just
all.
capture and chop up humans. That's not real life at all.
No, it's not. All right, well, unless you guys have anything else to bring up.
Wow, it looks like
News
Human
or
human
pop-
trafficking.
mind you that Peggy system, I believe over in Europe, is usually shown for it to be early. It seems that a lot of people, from what I'm looking at, quick glance, were rating it as Peggy 12, which I don't think is correct, but that's the only thing I've gotten so far.
Okay.
Which is generally rated T for teen or E for
Yeah, that's
everyone.
usually
I
like
was gonna
a
say, it seems
teenage.
like it should be rated. That's
So
hard.
is
It's
it,
like
is
between
it like
teen
bloody
and
though?
mature.
Is it like bloody though? Because I feel like that would turn it more into
I'd have to
a
see
mature.
play. Yeah.
If it's not bloody, then it's kind of really just Pokemon with the concept of you can.
Can we like
Cut them
share
up.
a screen and like pull up like a gameplay video of it or
Well,
something?
we definitely could, but then people listening would not be able to, so they would not be able to see it.
I mean, I imagine that's something that we wouldn't want to show anyway.
Yeah,
but
no, not really. That'll be something that if I get the game, then I could just stream it, or if we get it, we can all play it together and do it like that. That could be definitely one of the games that we plan on getting soon, like in the future, because sure, it sounds like my kind of.
I mean, it's
my
on
kind of
Game
thing.
Pass, and I have Game Pass.
Oh, I do too. It's on Game Pass. Oh, then I
cool.
have it.
Oh, bro, I have Game Pass too.
Oh my god, we should probably.
I tried to. I went to go cancel my Game Pass, but then it's like, well, for online, it's like $5 less every 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
So I might as well just keep Game
Exactly.
Pass.
Yeah, you just keep the bundle.
So it's still like $40 every 3 months, whatever.
Yeah, no, I'd rather just keep the Game Pass. All right, well.
Game Pass is great. Yeah,
that was very
Game
interesting.
Pass is a good deal.
That was very
Hashtag
interesting.
not
We're
sponsored.
going to go from mutilating animals and humans and cutting them up and possibly doing cannibalism to our very wonderful topic of the day, bathroom etiquette.
Oh no.
For example, a couple questions for you guys. How do you wipe your ass? How many times do you wipe? Are you an over or under toilet paper? When you wipe, do you wipe front to back? Do you look to make sure? And then when you're done, does the toilet seat stay up or go
hold
down?
on. Do you? Can I just interrupt you again?
Sure.
Do you
like the
do you
12th
look
time
to
today.
make sure? What is he supposed to do? A freaking taste test?
Oh, no. Trust me. There are people that don't look. I've heard many times that there are people that just don't look. They just wipe a certain specific amount of times and then I'm done.
What?
Yeah,
Are they toddlers? What?
exactly. That's why I want to go into this. We're going to go into bathroom etiquette here.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
first of all,
Finish your introduction.
Yep, the final thing was, when you're done, does the toilet seat stay up or do you put it down? Or even just if you're going pee, do you seat up or seat down? And do you wash your hands and how often?
This is an interesting topic for you to pick.
Yes.
Because we haven't discussed this at all.
No, we
chat.
haven't.
And we just.
That's gonna be the situation. It's just gonna be like this every episode.
I love that, but the timing of it, because we just started getting serious about potty training my daughter.
Dude, I'm potty
She's 2.5.
training right now with my 3 and 1.
And
so I get it.
So she's in pull-ups and she's doing great, and the wife is like, "Hey, let's buy her some like actual underwear, and we're gonna push her to the next level of potty training." And I'm like, what does that mean? Push her to the next level? She's like, well, because she's probably using the pull up during the day just because she doesn't want to go to the bathroom. Just she just I don't feel like going. I'm just gonna go right. I could just go right now. Not a big deal.
Yeah, exactly.
So with her now, it's forcing her to use the potty. So yeah, there's a lot more messes, and yes, there are currently 2 layers of towels on the couch, but this is a step that we are making, and it has been interesting today.
We're gonna delve
But
right in. So,
Well, as a grown man, how do you take care of yourself? That is the
exactly,
question.
that's the question.
Yeah.
So, how do you guys wipe your ass? Do you go from behind or do you go from the front? Personally, I'm from behind. I reach back, I lean forward, I reach back, and I wipe.
I mean, I think it's generally pretty universal
No,
about how to wipe one's
nope,
ass.
Nope.
It is.
Have you sat
I've
down
had
and
this-
reviewed a lot of people before this podcast to make sure that
Have
that's
I?
accurate?
No, but I've also seen a lot of videos of other people, like
You watch
social
people
media.
wiping?
No, yes, absolutely. That's my kink.
For research purposes,
No,
yeah.
literally the other podcasts
only.
that I've listened to or other videos that I've watched, like YouTubers, they're talking and they make fun of each other because one of them specifically
Well,
wipes
how-
from the front.
So if you have multiple sources, how does one exactly look this up? Because that seems really, really interesting. Like kind of like approach. Like, I'm thinking that for the first podcast we talk about ass wiping. Let me search ass wiping on Spotify.
I like to think that he got like a deal on toilet paper, and he's like, you know what? Let's talk about butts on the first
Honestly, I
podcast.
wish that would be fantastic.
So I'm gonna,
Had it
I'm
charming,
gonna
not.
defend, I'm gonna defend Will here and his like research gathering process, because like where we work, or where I, sorry, I meant me and my where I work, we do long shifts with each other, like 24 to 40-hour shifts during the winter, because we have to clear the streets, and we stay we basically work as safely as we can until it's like if I get into a truck, I'm gonna get into an accident, and then we get to go home. So there's been when you're listen when you spend years working uh, multiple long shifts like that with the same group of guys, then you guys learn that there's not much you can't talk to each other about.
Mm-hmm. I'm an open book,
So
honestly. There's very few things that I won't talk about, so y'all are in for a treat.
this has come up with my coworkers, and I work with a variety of characters. Yeah, I could write a fucking book on this place, and I'm thinking about it. I've got
Should.
a whole memo section in my phone devoted to Uncle Philisms, because he's
that's
Uncle
great.
Phil. This guy's in his 70s. He's worked with us since 1960. Not to, I don't mean to distract you for too long from the butt talk, but he started there in
Yeah, man,
1968.
I want my butt stuff. Let's go.
I'm sure you do.
I want my butt stuff. Will Watson 2024.
And that's all we have today for the podcast.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure to follow,
Uncomfortability has reached the
Let's end it on the brown note.
No, I mean, I guess to start first, even though I don't remember exactly the list of questions
How do
we
you
have
wipe
here,
your ass?
is I mean, you don't. If you do it from the front, then you're kind of wiping to the goosh, and you're kind of getting shit underneath your.
You are risking
your
getting
genitalia.
shit on your dick and balls. Yep, on your hot dog
Or vagina. I
also-
mean,
or
there's
vagina,
not
that's true.
specifically. Yeah.
I mean, we're all guys, so I'm just gonna assume male anatomy here. But also, you risk friggin'
How
fondling your
dare
junk
you
with your
assume
wrist.
that I have male anatomy in 2024, sir?
Deal with it.
Continue.
So I mean,
But
yeah,
when you reach it from the front, it works better for the females because there's no dangly bits there. Everything's all self-contained.
I'm gonna be honest here, though. If you need to clean it, you need to clean it. And for some reason, if you're kind of reaching around and it works better for you to go from the front, by all means. But make sure it's clean. Make sure there's no residue, there's no leftover. I mean, that's what I mean by simple. It's straightforward. You take the paper, you wipe it, it's done. I mean, sometimes wet wipes are even great too.
Okay,
Obviously,
but so
some of them
so
aren't
let's
good
go
for
through this,
toilets,
though.
but
Let's delve into this though. So it's how do you wipe your ass? Do you crumple? Do you roll? Do you fold it? What do you do?
Dude, I am not a gambling man. I have to fold, and it's
For
got to
sure.
be a very specific length depending on the toilet paper.
Yes,
I
I'm
wrap.
right with
I
you.
take
I wrap it
I take
around
a
my
nice
fingers.
I take a nice wrap around my fingers,
Yep.
get a nice so I can get a nice scoop in there.
Exactly.
And there you go.
Exactly. Yes.
Simple.
Yes.
All
right.
I never thought about doing the mummy method.
So yeah, exactly. Give it a try. Give it a try. Next time you're gonna drop the kids off at the pool,
Yeah.
give it a try, man.
I'm exploring
mummy-
my wiping potential here.
Mummy method
Will,
with the 4 fingers.
I don't want 4 fingers. I'm good, thanks.
So, next question is how many times? Because you say you grab the toilet paper and you wipe, but you don't obviously just do it one time. At least I hope not. How many times do you wipe? Is it?
That comes with like the type of shit you're taking. If you are not hydrated well enough, it's gonna be messy. It's gonna be gross. You're gonna have to wipe a lot, or you're gonna have to find an alternative method like wet wipes, or if you're rich enough and you have a nice bidet.
Oh, you make a good point.
Too.
You make another good point because people might not also
That-
wipe their ass; they might bidet their ass. That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Or if
Yeah.
you have wet wipes, because I mean, I definitely use some baby wipes every once in a while if I need to, because
I gotta
sometimes
say
it's
this.
just you got some sloppy behind.
Being men who work, yeah, you got to do the baby wipe thing every now and then.
I mean, I've also had times before where I've taken a deuce and I've had to wipe and there's nothing there, and I've wiped a few more times after, and I'm like, I gotta double check. There's no way, completely clean. So it just depends on the type of number 2 you're taking.
It happens,
Yeah,
yeah. But
exactly.
and also on the flip side, This has happened to me a couple times where it's like you just keep wiping, and it's like you're wiping a felt tip marker. It's like it just, well, come on, man. I got I got shit to do. No pun intended.
Meanwhile,
Come on,
someone's
clean. Let's
knocking on the
go.
someone's knocking on the stall, and you're like occupied. And then 2 seconds later, they knock
Occupado.
again. You're like, I said someone's in here.
Oh,
And they
dude,
try to handle, and you're like, oh god,
whenever
this
whenever
is gonna fall
someone
apart.
knocks, my favorite is always come in.
Oh, I gotta use that now. Oh, that's perfect. Oh, I gotta use that.
We have
Absolutely.
a porta potty. We have a porta potty at work, and guys were just walk up and just try to open the door, and it's like, well, they learned very quickly that the little like porta potty lock, it's like a big plastic. It looks sturdy enough to hold the door closed. No, it's not. So many times, guys have like thrown the door open. Oh, what the fuck! You hear like muffled screaming from outside because the porta potty's obviously outside the storage barn. You hear muffled, what the fuck, man? You want to join? Or some stupid retort. So guys, they they walk up and they knock. That is like literally taught guys at my work to knock before trying to enter a porta potty.
Yeah, you definitely should.
I mean, speaking of etiquette, yeah, that you should always knock in a bathroom.
Yeah,
Oh
always
yeah,
knock.
absolutely.
Oh,
The only
sure.
times that I've been like walked in on, like, or attempted to at least, of like an actual bathroom. I mean, people have attempted to open the freaking stall that I'm in. It's like, I'm here. It's closed. Like, if it's closed, you shouldn't even be walking up to it unless they're all closed. And then it's like, all right, well, you know what? Hello.
Bro, there's all these other stalls, and you pick the one that I'm currently using.
Exactly.
Fuck out of here.
Exactly. All right, so we
So,
decided
okay,
this.
we're on this-
So how do you wipe
We're
your
on the
ass?
we're on the
It's-
same page. Wipe until done.
Yes,
Gotcha.
wipe until done. And so that obviously means that you guys you're looking back at it. You're taking a peek to see if there's a streak.
Taking a peek to see if there's a streak. I like that.
That was real quick. I said it, and that was not intended, but it worked out really well. So over or under for the toilet paper. Personally, I'm an over. Like on the roll.
I mean, again, it depends in some cases too, right? Like I like over, but if you have a pet, over it, you're gonna be hard pressed to keep that because if a pet really wants to fuck with that toilet paper roll, it's gonna go everywhere.
Or kids, or kids.
But the problem, but the problem with under is if you do under, you're kind of grabbing at whatever surface it's at. So, if God forbid your hands aren't clean while you're wiping beforehand, you try to grab the paper and it's all messy. You don't want that. And having it over makes it much easier to grab, much easier to rip. I personally like over, but I can understand some situations of people having it.
Yeah, no, personally, it's an over for me. And if I go to like other people's houses or whatever, I also do change it. I am that person. If it's an under, I switch it to an over.
I do
That's just me.
that too to see if they pay attention.
Yeah, no, and I've never been questioned yet. So
Now, actually, no, I'm gonna wait. This is gonna come up later, so I'm gonna wait until later to say that.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm an over guy.
Okay, so we have the how do you wipe your ass? We all are a reach behind, typically with toilet paper. AJ, you fold. Me and Alan, we roll it around our hand.
Do the mummy thing.
Huh?
The mummy
The
thing.
mummy thing.
Wrap
Wrap
your hand up like a mummy.
Mummy style, exactly. So we front or back wipe. Did I say that one? No, we didn't say that one, but I'm assuming you guys pull
Yeah, we
from. Oh yeah,
Oh,
no,
that was
it got brought up,
but
but
yeah,
I
we said
didn't
that.
specifically like ask it, and it got brought
We
up.
didn't
so,
like
yeah.
deep dive into
So
it,
it was.
to
I'm assuming
fulfill
it's
his
all.
insatiable urge.
We reach from behind. We go from the balls to the back. That's how we. Is that how you guys do as well?
Yes, away from
Front
the
to back.
genitalia.
Yeah. Okay. Figured. Okay. And we do look. We looked at that because we have to make sure that there is no streak behind. Take a peek
Bro,
from
how
the streak.
can you just wipe and just like,
Dude,
yeah, I think
it's-
I'm okay
honestly,
now.
There's
But
a
it's like it takes
podcast
half
that I
a
listen
second to look.
This person says that they don't look. They just know when they're done. It's like, no, you don't.
They're a monster, and they're an inbred.
Yes.
Moving on.
It's awful. All right. So finally, you have now done the business. You've cleaned up after you pulled up your pants, shorts, whatever you're wearing. You put the toilet seat down, or do you leave it up when you flush?
When you flush.
Yes.
I mean, I don't specifically set a specific like setup for things. So I just kind of either flush or shut the toilet at any point. I have a cat. I have a pet. So again, I keep the toilet seat shut because this cat is very curious. You know, in general, it'll just try to do whatever it wants to do. I don't want that. I don't want that for it. I don't want that for anyone.
You.
That is a receptacle for waste, not for consumption. So I keep my stuff shut. And so at any point in time after being done, it's shut, flushed before or after.
Yes,
So
yeah. For
shut
me,
all
it's the
the
same
time.
thing. The toilet seat for me is 100% down if we are not using the toilet. It is always down. Personally, it's because a lot of people, I guess, don't know this, but when you go poop and then you flush with the toilet seat up, a lot of the fecal particulates go into the air. So you have like fecal matter in your air that you can't see, but it gets on everything in the bathroom. So it gets onto the toilet paper that's on the roll, it gets onto the hand towel that you have hanging up, it gets into the sink if you have a little like hanger for your toothbrushes or a cup or whatever, it gets on that, and it's absolutely disgusting to me. So I always personally put it down. Just for that point alone, I put it down.
Yeah, that's fair. It's a good
I'm
reason.
glad I'm glad that you had that big, huge, long rant because I was thinking of how to say that as well. But yeah,
Yeah,
you
okay.
gotta shut it.
You gotta
I mean,
shut
I
it.
agree with you, Alan. I have cats, and one cat, she is a water cat. If there is any standing body of water inside the house, whether that's an open glass that's left out overnight, or the toilet seat is up, or when we first moved up here, I had like a small pot of water in front of the pellet stove, like where the heat came down, and it kept the floor from heating up, and it also like introduced moisture to the air. Well, I had to buy a specific size colander to put in that pot so I could keep water in there and keep the cat out of it.
So weird side question. What is the difference between a water cat and a catfish?
A
It
catfish
could
is a
be the
fish
same.
that has the little whiskers.
I guess.
A water cat, I would assuming, is the cat that likes water.
All right.
Well,
Just make
I guess
sure.
it depends on the context of the conversation. I would say.
I don't think I've ever heard the term water cat before, but I like it.
I like it too. I
Yeah, no,
actually got kind of
because
sidetracked into my own mind.
catfish could be like some weird neckbeard trying to get some pictures or something. Whereas like you say water cat, it's like, oh, okay, cat that likes water.
That's a
Okay.
good point.
Do you
Yeah,
have one of
yeah,
those
that's a
too?
good point.
Fortunately, no.
I think he meant the creepy guy pretending to be somebody else.
That's what I thought he meant.
Okay, good.
All right. um,
Will, do you?
Also, yeah, you gotta keep that lid shut, not only for the cats, but also all that fecal matter in the air that just gets introduced and splashed around microscopically when you go to flush.
It's disgusting to me. That's just awful.
And also, I have a daughter and a wife who do not appreciate this toilet lid being up, so I always shut it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm also very particular about how I do things in life. I'm very like scheduled, and things need to be a certain way. I have OCD about a lot of things, and I know it's like, oh, people have OCD and they just say it. Like, no, I'm actually like, it physically bothers me if things aren't a certain way. I actually get like irritated. I can be very irritable. I can start just not a tantrum, but I can. It needs to.
Your
It needs to
your
happen.
your behavior
Yes,
changes.
it needs to happen, or I get irritated. And I really can't think of anything else besides that straight up anxiety and OCD. Like, it just needs to happen, or I'm not okay. So that's one of those things. It's just like, no, toilet seat down, because that's disgusting to me. All right, so the next question was, do you guys wash your hands, and if so, how often?
I think this one's pretty self-explanatory for
Is it?
the first part of the question. I mean, I know a lot of people that don't wash their hands, but they use number one. But most times when you're wiping your ass, you're gonna get shit on your hands.
Oh yeah, no, okay.
So I
That's
certainly
what I'm
hope
saying.
that
Like,
people would
there's
wash
a lot
their
of
hands.
like nuances to this. So that's why I'm saying, like, is it self-explanatory? Because I don't know.
Yeah, it is definitely not self-explanatory. So, I work in a dirty line of work. My hands get dirty all the goddamn time between hydraulic lines, asphalt, curve. My hands are like pretty much always dirty at work. So I've got a habit. I'll walk into the bathroom. I'll wash my hands and then do my business, and then I'll do like a light washing after. So I wash my. I've been called like a freak because I wash my hands twice,
No, I
and
get
I'm
Yeah,
that.
like,
I get it.
dude,
Yeah,
you
it
think
depends.
you got me all fucked up. If you think I'm gonna be touching my junk with ATF and hydraulic fluid and diesel all over my hands, like, no,
no,
that
no,
ain't
that makes
happening.
sense. I mean, when you're cooking, you don't want to do that. That's an issue with that too. And I mean, I work with things that are touched by many, many people at one given time. So it's not
I love how
by all
that is
means
like the
great.
most. See, I know what you do because you told me, but it's like that is like the most vague description, and I like it.
Sure, but it's an item that's
I
touched
mean,
by
you're
multiple
100%
people.
you're
It's
100%
processed.
correct.
It's
Yeah.
processed a lot by people, by machines. It's chemical, or God knows what else is on. The boxes, so to speak, is a good example. So I wash my hands before and after for sure.
All
Um,
right. So there's like none of my coworkers do that, and I was kind of like, okay, I guess I'm just different for doing that.
Yeah, no,
well, I was gonna make a
it's
joke about
completely
that, saying
understandable.
it's good to wash your hands, whether it's the asphalt or the ass's fault. But yes, I wash
Nice.
my hands before and after, depending. Most times, I'm generally a clean person. I have hand sanitizer right at my desk. I actually used to obsessively compulsively wash my hands when I was younger, and now I actually found a helpful tool with washing hands and obsession compulsion is having granulated soap. If you have granulated soap, one thing is
Ooh,
it
that's like good shit.
automatically scrubs into what you're doing well. So most times it actually gets rid of bad sense pretty quickly within less washes. But it also helps you feel a lot cleaner while you are washing your hands. So the one I have right now is it's got sea salt granulation to it. I've one with charcoal granulations to it, and it feels cleaner. It feels nicer. It feels cleaner, and it usually makes your hands smell better immediately because you're getting into the pores. You're scrubbing. And it doesn't make it so where you're not washing your hands to the point where they are cracked or they're bleeding or whatever. Because I used to be that way. I'm not so much now. Speaking of OCD, but I'm not that way. I just kind of wash my hands once or twice, make sure that they're clean, uh,
So,
and smell good.
Grant, I agree. Granulated soap is the way to go. I have this soap. It comes in. It's like it's not orange glow because that's I almost said orange glow, but that's the floor stuff. No, it's like orange soap. It comes in a big orange container with a little pump handle on top of it, and it's got those little granulations. And again, because I'm always my hands are always dirty, and also I also deliver oil during the winter, and that gets dirty too.
Oh
And it's
yeah,
like that granulated stuff is all that like it gets off. It actually it cleans your hands way better. And it's just one and done. It's like, oh, my hands are a little stained, whatever. It'll come off in a couple of days of washing. But I also have like these little. I'm kind of a nerd. I have these little bars of soap that are custom made. He takes like Hot Wheels and he makes molds. So you get this little like 1/64th like Hot Wheels sized bar of soap, and it's of like whatever. It's in the shape of whatever car you want. It's pretty sweet.
that's cool. I'll have to look into
But yeah,
the granulated soap because I don't have anything like that. We just do we have a well, my wife has a Victoria's Secret credit card that she uses, but they have like an affiliation with Bath and Body Works, so we can use the credit card at Bath and Body Works as well, and we can buy like a bunch of soaps from there for like either gifts for people or for us at home. So it just makes it easier that way.
dude.
Well, the problem thing
18.
with the granulated soaps is that it's not really specifically labeled, from what I can see. There's been times where I bought in soap, I assume it's granulated, but it's not. I bought in this one. I don't even know what it is exactly. I'd have to go look. It's just sea salt on it, and you'd have to look at it and tell if it's granulated. Most of the time when I buy shampoo or hand wash or whatever, I actually test it in the store to make sure it smells good or has a texture that is like required.
Shampoo. I could just imagine you taking a makeshift shower
Yeah.
in the middle of fucking Hannaford's.
No, you can easily put a little bit on your
No,
hand
no,
and
I
spread
just
it around
I
and
can just
feel the
imagine you
texture.
grabbing like a water bottle, like, oh, let me just wet my hair real quick. Go and put some shampoo in, and
It's funny
ooh,
you say
what a
that. There
nice
was a prank I
lather.
watched. A dude actually had a giant gallon tank of water. He'd go into Home Depot and he'd test the showers out. He'd go in with I think swimming trunks, and he'd go in and take an actual shower in the
That's
store. He'd
fantastic.
hook it up to. He'd have all the hookups and fixings, and yeah, it was crazy to think that he got the chance to actually set it up. and then he would have someone come over because they'd eventually hear or smell or see, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, you want to hand me that towel over there?" And he have a towel with a rack set up
That's amazing. Dude, you're gonna
specifically.
have to find that
Yeah.
and like link it to me in the Discord because that's fantastic. That is amazing. That's so cool. Okay. Well, I'm glad we figured that out. And we found out that we are all pretty clean guys. We all kind of wipe the same way, which makes me feel really good because a lot of people, I've just, like I said, there's a lot of podcasts that I listen to or videos that I've seen where people talk about this and they do it a completely different way. And I'm like, that's just so wrong.
You know, I'm going to be hard pressed to even talk about this in another episode, but I got to bring it up now because it makes sense. There's a whole nother question we'd even touch on, maybe
What's that?
more. Are you a squatter or are you a sitter?
Oh, that's a good. Yeah, no,
Because there actually
I'm a
is a
sitter.
whole thing on that the human body is actually better designed for having excrement leave your body while squatting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Uh,
so
that's the whole premise behind the
the
squatty
squatty
potty.
potty, I have one.
Not sponsored.
I have one.
That's
No,
just what it's
it's
called.
not like an actual squatty potty. We just got one of those like 9 or 10 inches off the ground, like footstools or like step stools. So we just got one of those, and I just use that. We have it sitting right in front of our
and it
toilet.
makes a world of
It
difference.
really
It
does.
really
Yeah,
does.
for sure. Yeah,
It
I'm
also would
definitely a squatter.
that
That's a sitter, I
it
mean, but
makes it
squat
much
potty. I don't know how to say
easier
it.
to wipe at the end because it's much cleaner. It's easier. There's no required to push. There's no, and if you are pushing, you shouldn't be pushing. But there is no effort extra required or extra effort required. It's a very smooth, simple process, and it may feel awkward at first, but it's actually definitely better
Well,
experience.
you know what? That actually brings another question to me for squatting and sitting in a public bathroom. Let's say like a bathroom at a like a gas station or something. We all know how they are just iconically disgusting. Do you sit down when you have to poop? Do you put like those little toilet paper doily things on, or toilet paper yourself onto it, or do you just not go in at all?
The second,
You put
I
the
squat
yeah,
or
yeah.
yeah, I
You do
squat
the
or the
hover thing.
second. Yeah, hover or put the paper on,
So
100%.
can we circle back to the squatty potty thing real
Yeah,
quick?
yeah.
I've got I'm not like super tall. I'm 6 foot, but I have longer legs. And my dad got the squat when I was still living in my parents' house. My dad got a squatty potty. He's like, oh, best thing in the world. He loved it. Right? It's like I tried it. It never made a difference for me. And it arguably made it worse for me because my legs are kind of bent up. It's like this just hurts my legs. This sucks. So it's definitely maybe I need a squatty potty that's a little lower because I heard they have like different height ones now. Like they're taller if you're like a little
I'm
short,
sure
or
they
if
do. Yeah,
I
or
mean,
for
also
kids.
it also depends on like the toilet they're
that's true
using
too.
too,
The
because
shape
I
of
don't
the
know if
actual
you're
seat.
not even the seat. It's the elevation of the toilet. Because for me, um, I have an apartment. Pieces are old, equipment's bad. I had a toilet that was just not good, right? And sometimes it just wouldn't even flush at all. So I told them, "Hey, this won't do. I need something." And so they actually ended up giving me a toilet that they had a spare. I swear to God, you that they pulled this out of a hospital because this is a large ass toilet, and the suction is just like a power vacuum. It's insane,
Think
and I'm
I'll
like,
suck up a bunch of
okay,
pool balls.
yeah, it's so crazy, and it actually sits up massively higher because if you look at most toilets that are in hospitals, they're like a bigger system because they have better plumbing systems. One of their main assets, actually, surprisingly, in a hospital is that plumbing and electronics. The system is intense. They have all that money. It's all that state money that's forwarded into it, and they
Mm.
have a lot of powerful appliances throughout. And toilets are, not last on the list for sure. So I definitely have a high power toilet, but it sits much higher. So typically a squatty potty isn't really much of a squat. So I have to have a little bit higher elevation for when it comes to me actually having a comfortable position with my legs.
Yeah, I get
Interesting.
that. That makes sense.
Because like we don't have an official branded squatty potty. There's a stool that I made in like 8th grade woodworking, and the wife and we have like an off we call it the off-brand squatty potty. and it also double functions as a stool so my daughter can reach the sink because she loves wash. She has the same thing that I do, where I don't have. It's not like bad for me, and I don't have like OCD or nothing, but it bothers me greatly when my hands are sticky or my hands are gross. So it's like as soon as my hands get sticky, it's like as soon as I'm done whatever I'm doing, it's like all right, I gotta go wash my hands. And I noticed my daughter is the same way.
Well, that's good. I passed down.
She loves washing her hands.
I actually don't even know if I answered the do I wash my hands and how often. I don't think I actually answered that. I guess I'll answer real quick. So yes, I wash my hands.
Oh yeah, don't dodge your own question.
Right? Yeah.
Shaking my head in disappointment.
So yes, I do wash my hands.
Unbelievable.
I do not wash every single time though. So for me, it's when I poop, for sure. Yes, I'm washing. If I'm going pee, and for me personally, both of you know that I am fairly short. I am 5'6", so I don't have a lot of height on me. I am closer to that toilet than you guys are. So I'm able to pull out Little Willie and generally just aim directly into the toilet as it is. So I don't even have to touch down there for the most part. Meaning
emphasis on little, yeah.
Huh?
You speaking.
Yeah. Thanks. Yes, me. Yeah, so because it can just aim directly into the toilet without having to actually aim him down there, then I don't necessarily have to wash my hands every single time. Do I still most of the time? Yes. If I'm in a rush and I just really need to go to the bathroom before I leave the house, no. I will wash my hands if I'm like cooking or eating, because that's but
right. So you say that because you're going to be consuming something, and you do not want to transfer that it's gross, you want to wash your hands. But you could say the exact same thing about touching a doorknob.
right.
It does the exact same thing because most people will get sick from touching a doorknob.
Yeah,
because a lot of people touch it. I live in an apartment complex. In order to leave this apartment, I have to touch at least 3 doorknobs. So in most cases, I have a higher probability of getting sick due to that, especially with the mass amount of people rather than just a singular myself or my roommate.
Yeah, no, I get that.
So I would say it's equal the same way. If you are, if you're going to be in the bathroom, you're using it, always wash your hands. The contrary to that, though, I've actually read reports of people talking about how toilet seats aren't actually all that gross, even in public ones. People that use public bathrooms, most times those are actually going to be generally cleaner than your household ones because they are cleaned more often than not.
I'm still not gonna eat my breakfast off of it or anything, but
No,
I don't think he's saying that. No.
I'm talking about sitting down on them
Yeah,
without ever
no,
using
I get
anything.
That. I get that.
It's actually generally, and on top of that, most diseases that you get from sitting down on a toilet, you're not going to have transferred to you. There's most of the diseases you get aren't like a skin contact, because once they touch the porcelain, most of them die very quickly. Given that said, I actually will still put stuff on the toilet seat for prevention, but apparently it is not as common as you think to get any sort of rash or infection from sitting on a toilet seat in the public.
That's good to know. I'll keep that in mind. I want to double back to the doorknob situation that you were talking about too. When you guys are going to like a public, because like your own bathroom, I'm not really like concerned. Like I'm sure you're not too concerned about your own doorknob, but in like public bathrooms where you have like hundreds of people, thousands of people using that, and I guarantee that thing does not get cleaned, or at least not as thoroughly or as often as you'd like it to be. Do you guys just bare hand on the handle if you can, or because personally I like if they have like the paper towel dispenser in the bathroom, and I always grab paper towels and use that to open the door. I never actually bare hand
me too.
the door. And like even if it's like, oh, they don't have paper towels, it was only like an air hand dryer, which by the way I hate those because they just blow all the bacteria everywhere around the room, and that's just gross. But if it was like, oh, I can't open the door, but it's like one of those hook ones, I'll just like slide my arm in and I'll use like the center of my arm or my elbow to grab the door. I'm pretty like precise about not touching that doorknob if I don't have to.
Yeah, no, I get that. Me too. The same way as touching the toilet seat. it's people can be gross, so I try to avoid touching it as much as possible. I even go to so far as like when I go to like the convenience store and you have the door to open up the cooler, I will, if I can, I will open it from the very top and not even use the handle.
Either the top or like, because I again 5'6", I
there you
can't
go.
reach the top. I'll
Use a
pull
part.
it with the bottom.
Use a part that's not well used.
Yeah, like I can just use like my foot underneath the door and I can pull it open sometimes that way.
Interesting.
Don't laugh at me because I'm short.
Nah, man.
No, we're laughing at you because you have a tiny dick. That's what you said.
Whoa, what?
I mean,
You called it Little Will
I mean,
instead of Big Will.
listen. If he said Big Will, we'd all be calling him a liar. You gotta understate it so it sounds believable.
Thank you.
I get that.
Thank you.
I wasn't. All right, I'm contributing to that as well. Sometimes there's been if I just gotta go number one, there's like certain toilets where this works, and like urinals usually works too. Where I could just kind of like balance a little dude on the waistband, and like I'm just holding my underwear. I'm not actually touching the little guy, and it works out great. And it's like, bam, I could just walk right out of there.
You don't call it little guy. That's weird. Call it a penis.
Little girl?
No, I call
Yeah,
it penis.
that'd be a lot weirder,
Yeah.
Alan. Calling it the little girl.
I call it a penis. That's what it is.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
I don't even have to
Anatomically
handle my
correct Alan
massive
over here.
dong.
Yeah, and this comes from people who have kids. Most people apparently are teaching their kids like to not make names.
Yeah, no, I straight
their
up
genitalia.
we straight up say
teach them
vagina,
penis.
Okay,
Vagina.
yeah. No. We're doing that with my daughter too. And with kids, yes, that makes perfect sense. Don't make up names. Use the actual body
He
term.
touched
But when
my
you're an
cookie.
adult-
But
Go
we're
get
all
another one.
we're all grown ass. Yeah, we're all grown ass men. So we can make up names for little Willie down there.
I say
really-
Little Willie specifically because I'm Will. So he's Little
You guys
Willie.
want to call?
You're Big Will.
I'm Big Willie.
Big Will, standing tall at 5'6".
No, he's Big Will. I'm Little Will.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because you're short.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
right. That
exactly,
makes sense.
exactly.
Well,
exactly.
That's what I'm saying. That's
You're
what I'm
a short
saying.
king, though, like my boy Yuki Tsunoda. You're a short king.
I am a short
We
king.
gotta stick true
Short
to
kings-
the male nature.
Short kings unite.
We gotta stick to the male nature that men always upsize. That's how it is. Women always
mean-
downsize. Women always upsize. Just how it goes.
Do we need to though? Because like
Nah.
I'm more of a realistic kind of guy.
So, yeah, I think of myself as a
I like-
realist.
I
Then keep calling it
realist.
little, and we'll all be good, I guess.
I like over or under exaggerating to make it funny.
Yeah, exactly. Comedic relief.
It's like my favorite go-to is like, nah, dude, I'm half Irish. I don't have a schlong. I have a schlort. It's interesting how often that comes up at work, but yeah,
I've never
that's always
heard
my
that. I
go-to.
love that. I got a splort.
There you go. Use it.
Oh, I'm gonna.
You're
That's
welcome.
perfect. Oh my god, that's amazing. That's gonna be merch. Oh, I love it.
Well, I call mine the salty spittoon instead of Weenie Hut Junior. So you know.
Hey, look at you with the
There you go.
SpongeBob reference.
Overstating again. You're overcompensating.
I didn't overcompensate anything. I just said the salty spittoon.
Yeah, which is a bigger venue than the Weenie Hut Juniors.
It's not bigger at all. Actually, it's actually the same size. It's just tougher.
Is it
Yeah.
this? I'm looking up pictures. Is it? I could have sworn it was bigger.
I think it's actually relatively the same size. I don't think they actually talked about
Hold on.
its size. I think it's more or less that
Weenie Hut
the salty
Juniors.
spittoon is,
Image.
for men and Weenie Hut Juniors for kids. It was also more of a play on words, that it's
Okay, there's-
generally saltier.
So we're talking about
and-
Weenie Hut Juniors, not Super Weenie Hut Juniors.
Or Super Mega Weenie Hut Juniors. Or Weenie Hut General.
Correct. Oh, dude, the salty spittoon is way bigger. I got a picture of them side by side.
Oh yeah, do you?
The salty spittoon is like a full 2 floors.
Well, then I guess I'll have to
With a
take your
big
word
double
for
door
it
at the
because
front.
nobody can see that. And you know what?
Can I share my
Viewers,
screen?
Go look up on your own
Hold on,
time
hold on.
the salty
We're not doing
spittoon
videos.
and
Oh, I can. I can share my screen.
you can, but we still can't show the people listening.
We would see it. They wouldn't.
We would. They would.
So you guys should have to take his word for it. I wasn't unaware of that. I didn't really look at the architectural designs of Weenie Hut Jr. and the
Salty Spittoon.
My bad.
Well, you're talking to a SpongeBob fanatic, and I've
Yeah,
seen
exactly. Me
probably
too.
the first 6 seasons 100 times.
Yeah, I can quote
like, no,
most,
there's no way.
if not all, of the episodes for like majority of them. I'm a huge SpongeBob fan, and my kids are too, and that's a necessity in this house.
When in doubt, pinky out.
All right, well, we are a little over an hour now, so that should be about time that we bring this down. But I actually really enjoyed this. That was a great episode with a lot of really.
It's already been an hour?
Yeah, we're at an hour and 12
And all
minutes.
we've done is talk about toilets and butts.
Yeah, and that honestly, it was great.
Start from the bottom, and then later we'll say we start.
And
that's
we
where we
stayed
started.
there.
Hey,
And we
now
we're
stayed
here.
there.
Start from the bottom, now we're at the front.
Well, yeah. No, actually, I start from the front and go back. So I don't know about you, but.
Oh, you're weird. So, okay, can I add one quick question? Just
Sure,
one
yeah.
bonus question.
Sure, what's up?
Toothbrush placement
In the
bathroom.
cabinet.
Yeah.
Yep.
In the cabinet?
Yep. I have a cabinet. My toothbrushes are in there.
And I have a specific location
There's
that
a
it sets upon that nothing else touches.
I have a cup that I put it in.
Now, this might even constitute its own podcast, but I'm going to say this anyways. I think it's a Philips like 1 Plus toothbrush, like the really fancy electric one.
Mm-hmm.
I have a
And
flathead.
I leave it. Just a flathead screwdriver. You're a man's man.
That's his floss pick.
You just scrape the plaque right
That's
off.
his
God
floss
damn.
pick.
Dude, that's something Ron Swanson would do.
That absolutely
You'd have like a
is.
chisel.
I mean, they don't call me Alan for nothing. Alan Wrenches.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
I'm a tool guy.
Hey, we found your last name.
Full-time Al.
We found your last name.
Well,
It's
I
Will
always-
Watson, Alan Wrench, and that's awesome.
Well, you can call me Tool Time Al. Not really.
Tool
do
time,
that.
Al. Can I just call you a tool and we'll be done with it? So I keep my toothbrush on top of the back of the toilet.
On top of the back of the
Because-
toilet.
Listen. Yep, like there's like the back
Yeah,
of the
the
toilet
tank,
and there's
yep.
like the lid. Yeah, on top of the tank. My toothbrush goes right there. A couple of reasons why. Let me explain.
I need an explanation.
First of all, it has a little plastic cap over it, over the head
Okay,
part,
yeah, I used to have those
so
too.
it's good
Yep.
there. Second of all, that's where the power outlet is, so I can charge it because it's
Okay,
electric.
that's valid. I get that then. That's fine.
Third
Yeah.
of all, well, also it's like it's a tiny bathroom, so there's not much counter space for the sink. Third of all, has nobody else besides me seen that MythBusters episode where they took like 200 toothbrushes, lined the walls inside the bathroom? Like I'm pretty sure they put a couple toothbrushes like underneath the toilet, and they were wondering like, hey, how far does fecal matter travel when you're just flushing the toilet? You know, where should you put
I
your
haven't,
toothbrush?
but I need to.
And it came to the. I think I need to rewatch it, but they came to the conclusion it doesn't really matter where you put your toothbrush, whether
matter
it's
goes
right next to
everywhere.
the toilet, or it's basically, or it's down the hallway. This almost the same amount of like microscopic, like beyond microscopic, like subatomic fecal matter gets on
Quantum
everything.
realm fecal matter.
Well, my toothbrush is usually enclosed in something.
Yeah,
for that
yours is
exact reason.
yours is 100% safe. That's not a bad idea. If I had
But
more
even
than
if
just one single cabinet, I might do that.
even if it wasn't, I don't think I'd put the risk of being like, poop gets everywhere, so I might as well put it the closest I can to the poop because then I'll know.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Ah. Also, you said you have cats. I have a cat as well. If I left something on the back end, I had a potted plant on the back. That shit almost broke. The cat will swipe that away, unintentionally or intentionally, whether body checking it or using its paw. If I leave a toothbrush on top of the toilet, it's going to be in the toilet, and no one
Whether or
wants that.
not it's with a paw or with its body, it's intentional. It's a cat. I grew up with cats. I love cats, but everything they do is malicious and intentional.
Yes,
But they're great. I
for
love
sure.
cats.
100%. Yep.
So what saves my toothbrush from getting knocked over by the cats? It's right next to my big jug of that orange soap that I was talking about earlier. So that's about the same height. So that protects it from getting knocked over from the cat being all frisky with it.
All right, well, we're at 116 now, so I'm gonna cut it here. We can talk about dental hygiene and all that stuff in the next podcast if either of you guys would like to take that as your topic. But yeah, I'm gonna close it out here. So I just want to say thank you guys for listening to the podcast. Make sure to follow, subscribe. You can tell all your friends and family about it because that's how word travels.
Ask them these questions.
Ask them all these questions, and actually, you know what? Listen to this podcast with them, and then answer the questions on your own time, like in between our questions.
Yeah, you can just like they can wait for you to ask the question and just pause it, and then when all their family members done answering and they're all done arguing and throwing hands, and then you just hit play.
I'm not exactly sure what kind of target artist we're really going to go for, but I don't know if the idea of family ass wiping is the whole highlight of that.
Well, I tell you what, I'm definitely gonna go and ask my wife all of these questions.
I mean, you guys have families. I don't have like a whole family. I don't have a wife and kids. But like, is that something you do? You sit down and you're like, now,
I have absolutely had conversations.
How
like
are
this
you
with
wiping
my
your
wife,
ass?
For sure, I have. Yes.
All right. Okay.
Like I've asked her like a couple basic questions just out of curiosity, and then it's like there were times it's like okay we're both in the bathroom at the same time, whether I'm in the shower or she's on the toilet, something like that. So this stuff does come up just naturally without actually having like a sit down like okay we're having a toilet talk today guys family meeting. That doesn't happen.
No, it doesn't. All right. Well, anyways, I don't know if you guys wanted to talk about any of your social media platforms that you have, if you wanted people to give you a follow out there, but I'm on most social media as either Watson, that's WATSYN, Watson the Box, all one word, or Will Watson. And you can go to any of those platforms and Twitter or X, I should say. I have a Facebook page. I have like a Discord that I can put in the show notes here. You guys can go to that. A whole bunch, any social media, give me a look up. I think the only one I don't have is Instagram because I just don't take pictures of myself. So I don't need that. But I don't know if you guys have anything you wanted to say, if you have any social media you wanted to get out there at the moment or not quite yet.
I'm only on Facebook for Marketplace and memes, so I'm definitely not worth the following on Facebook. Definitely follow Will instead.
Yeah, I second that. I don't really have a lot of followings that I've taken the time into. Kind of a private guy. Keep to myself, except for this podcast. This is
going to be a very open podcast. So you chose the wrong podcast to be a part of.
I'll bounce between being an absolute expert on a subject or I'll just live under an absolute fucking rock.
Yeah.
And social media has been like that for me. I just learned how Instagram works like last year.
I still don't have one.
And I just got my own Instagram.
I still don't have one.
Well, it's connected through my Facebook, and I just changed the picture to that of my cat. So
there you go. Well, as when it comes to social media for the podcast itself, I'm going to be working on channels for each of the platforms as well. So there hopefully soon will be a Twitter, a Facebook, a YouTube where we can post hopefully video versions of this podcast as well. We also have a Patreon that you guys can go donate to or become a part of. And we're going to have some extra things on there in the future. Like we'll have like extended small talks with the co-hosts. So that's me, that's Alan, that's AJ. We'll have extended conversation. We'll have exclusive episodes that are only going to be Patreon, exclusive video content. So we're all going to possibly get together if we have the time and make videos. Either that may be just gaming or, IRL. It's also going to be 1 week early on Patreon. And then when we do get ads, it will be ad-free as well. So guys, definitely head over there. I think I have it set up right now where we have like a $1 to just support and ask questions. And then there's other tiers as well that give you further access into certain Discord server channels that you don't have access to unless you are a specific Patreon member. So make sure you look up everything, Watson and everything What's Up. So take a look around. If you guys have anything else to say before we end this here.
it seems like you're having trouble trying to pinch it off right now.
No, I'm just asking you. I was going to say I have a way to do it, but I was saying if you guys had anything else to say, if
really gonna
not,
leave it off on shitty puns.
Well, it's a shitty podcast, so Exactly. I am absolutely leaving that in. Anyways, again, thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure to follow, subscribe, and donate, and show any kind of support that you can. Find us on social media, and we will see you guys in the next episode. We done!